Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 2, and verse 10. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Aharon coming back at you with a quick lesson, Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, and I'm going to title this, When Society Falls, ... Directive 51 and Phema death camps. Okay, and this is inspired from something I was actually doing a little research on. Okay, I believe this was yesterday, and Lord willing, I'm gonna do a little lesson on that as well. Okay, but going into the times that we're entering into. Okay, I just felt through the Spirit I'll just share some of this information that I've came across. All right, with your brothers and sisters out there. All right, now, this is going to highlight more of these so-called Phema camps. Okay, aka concentration camps, otherwise known as re-education centers. Okay, now we understand through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that these things that we're talking about here are not so-called conspiracy theories, but actually facts. Okay, these are things that the wicked, all right, of Esau Edom, all right, is planning to unveil upon the face of the earth. Okay, to fulfill the prophecy of him being, all right, the son of perdition. Okay, and a lot of people are going to quickly realize that, damn, everything that these men were saying was true. Okay, it wasn't any conspiracy theories, it was just facts, just to warn you. All right, pertaining to Ezekiel 3 and 17. All right, the Heavenly Father said that he sent Ezekiel, all right, which we are in the stead of Ezekiel today because Ezekiel is a prophet. Okay, and the Heavenly Father sends his prophets out there. It tells you that in the book of Jeremiah, the 7th chapter, all right, that he sent out his prophets, all right, rising up times. Okay, so in the stead of Ezekiel, we're been sent, all right, by the Heavenly Father to give warning unto the nation of Israel. As a matter of fact, let's open up with that, and then we're going to flow from there. Okay, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3 and verse 17. It says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. Okay, and what we're about to read here is all about warning. Okay, you got a lot of distraction going on, but understand that those distractions are there to sift out the non-elect, who might have heard this word and might have been paying attention. But as Yahushai said, the word goes out, and you got people that the word falls on some falls on stony ground, all right, and so on and so forth. And some people they basically receive the word, okay, but then affliction comes and trouble comes, and then they throw the word out the window. Okay, so that trouble. That troublous times is coming, but these distractions is weakening those who are not of the elect. So when the troubles come, they're gonna lose it. Okay, but in the meantime, the elect is paying attention. Okay, the non-elect are going to be sifted out, but the elect are paying attention. All right. So without further ado, let's get right into this. It says, FEMA death camps sheds light on a chilling reality, the existence of 1,000 concentration camps, a modern-day inferno where the innocent are trapped on the road to hell with nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Okay, now, when you look up that word inferno, let's just see what it says, right? It says hell, the infernal regions. Okay, now we know hell is just talking about the grave, right? It's not a place that you burn forever. Okay. It says the lower world, the otherwise known as the underworld, like they say. And the lower world is where you bury people. Okay, they call it 6 feet under. All right, it says a large raging fire. Okay, and that's where you have Gehenna. All right, it was an incinerator basically. Okay, and Yahushua even made reference to that. All right, so let's go back to the article. Okay, so it says modern day inferno where the innocent are trapped on the road to hell with nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. So that's proverbial for what's about to happen to people here in America, Babylon the Great. It's going to feel like hell. Okay, if you don't think America is already hell, then very soon you're going to really see it, because with all these demons out here, come on. All right, a lot more demons than angels. Okay. Anyway, let's read. It says, imagine a world where freedom is a distant memory. Into your memory, right? Replaced by the iron grip of oppression. This is the reality faced by thousands, hidden in plain sight under the guise of, quote, emergency management, end quote. But make no mistake, these are not havens of safety, right? The Apostle Paul says, what? When they shall say peace and safety, right? Was that in 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter? Right, when they shall say peace and safety, then what? Then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as a woman as a woman that travaileth, and what? And they shall not escape. Okay, it says what? These are not havens of safety; they are chambers of despair, meticulously designed to strip away humanity. And those who are going to end up in here, most of the people who are going to end up in here are going to be put to death. Okay, it says at the heart of this malevolent scheme lies the Federal Emergency Management Agency, otherwise known as Phema, an organization entrusted with protecting citizens in times of crisis. Yet beneath the facade, or its facade, of benevolence lies a web of deception, with each camp serving as a cog in the machinery of tyranny. From coast to coast, these facilities stand as monuments to governmental overreach, casting a shadow of fear over the land. For those unfortunate enough to find themselves within the confines of these camps, escape is but a distant dream. Surrounded by barbed wire and armed guards, they are prisoners of a system intent on extinguishing hope. Okay? Families torn apart, individuals stripped of their dignity. This is the grim reality of life within the walls of a FEMA death camp. It says, though the road ahead may seem bleak, there's still hope amidst the darkness. Through awareness and action, we can shine a light on the darkest corners of society, exposing. Okay, so see, again, the news here is, for those who still think that, there's some form of slither of hope, right? That, if we're able to bind together, there is no hope for America. Okay, if you're here in America, you think you're going to go back to the good old days of, gas being cheap and food being cheap and people just eating as much as they can or want. You go to the grocery store and you buy, you're doing groceries, right? Wholesale groceries shopping, and you're coming home with 2 carts filled with soda and chips and all kinds of crazy shit. And for mad cheap, less than $100. See? All those days where Americans are just living freely. Summertime, kids are out, people are out, women are out, men are out, everyone is out. All right, sit in the corner somewhere, opening the damn fire extinguishers and shit, the fire hydrants, I should say, right? And letting that water flow, and they playing music, and kids are running around, and nobody's sleeping, and they just making noise all night. Fireworks every night during the summertime. The summer nowadays, it doesn't feel like what it used to be back then. See? So that's a clear indication, all right, that this place is not, hey, let's get that. All right. Not be healed. Let's see. All right. Let me just go to it. See, so these things that you're seeing around, let me see something so I can. Right. Here's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 9. This is exactly, all right, what I just described, as in the things that are happening here are not what it used to be. All right. Things are not what it used to be. And it's not going to get better. No matter who you have in president, as president, or whatever the case may be. All right. America's downfall will not be stopped. Okay. It will not be stopped. It's going to continue on and on and on until it hits the average American physically in the face. Okay. In the middle of the night, when they grab you up and they send you into these camps. All right. Here's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 9. It says, "We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country." Okay. So America's chances of survival is zero, nil, zilch, nada, nothing. Ain't nothing available. You're just done. Okay. You're done. It's over with. And that means that it's going to affect the American people. Okay. And what's going to happen as a result? Civil war. Okay. Civil war, man. It says, "For her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies." Okay. So that time is coming. And of course, when there's chaos, what needs to happen? Order. Okay. Order happens. That's why they have the phrase ordo ab chaos, which is Latin for order out of chaos. Okay. And who's behind and orchestrating all the chaos? The same people who are going to come around and give the order. Okay. It's just a funny little cycle that they play. It's all psychological mind games. Okay. And the people keep falling for it every single time. All right. Now you have over 1,000 camps across the United States. Right. If you say 50 or 51 states, that's an average of about 20 states, 20 camps per state. That's a lot, man. You know? Anyway, let's read. It says, "For years, people believed that Phema was a benign agency tasked with aiding citizens during national disasters. But behind its seemingly harmless facade, it is gearing up to become the executive arm of a new police state." Okay? And within that police state, you're going to see a lot of things, including, all right, the mandatory implementation of the MOTB to fulfill biblical prophecy. Okay, that's where the penalty of death, if you don't take it, comes into play in the time of police state. Okay? And there's going to be absolute savagery that you're going to be seeing out here, because scriptures tell you that they shall be like madmen, sparing none. Okay? It says the very fabric of America's Constitution is at risk. Okay, and it's been at risk. In reality, the American Constitution doesn't even exist. Okay? If you really want to be honest, it doesn't exist, because if it did, then the whole CV mandates and all that wouldn't have happened. Okay? So, there you have it. It says, "Many may not be aware of the presidential executive orders, a public document listed on the Federal Register. These orders subtly, right? That's Esau's MO. He was more subtle, all right, than all the beasts of the earth. Okay, he's still the same. All right, out of all the beasts, which is these other nations, okay, he's the most subtle. Okay, drafted and signed, formed the legal framework for what might be a massive operation involving Phema. Okay, it says the key question is, why would Phema be associated with executive orders that can potentially suspend the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, the very documents that form the foundation of our nation's liberty and individual freedoms are under threat? Now you wait till the who dat. See, we're gonna keep mentioning them because they're not slick. All right, and we're not ignorant to Satan's devices. Okay, so we know that Esau is going to use the who dat in the name of a global health emergency, right? Like the one that Bill Gates, Auntie Gates and Uncle Melinda was laughing at, all right, a few years ago, talking about, well, the next one will get their attention. You know, yeah, that one, when it comes, the so-called disease X, all right, the big one, right, the one that's going to change the course of history forever type, you know, when that one happens, Okay, you're gonna see FEMA, all right, step up to the plate. Okay, step up to the plate and start bringing in all kinds of different measures. Okay, so it says FEMA's power is not just in its executive backing, but in its infrastructure. All right, it says a commonality between these camps they are all equipped with railroad facilities. The presence of railroads harks back to older times, where mass transportation of people in times of war or unrest was necessary. Each camp also has well-constructed roads for easy access, and many are conveniently located near airports. Most of these camps are capable of housing up to 20,000 prisoners. Okay, 20,000 prisoners. Consider the magnitude of such a number. All right, if you look at a baseball stadium and you got 20,000 people sitting in one place, man, that's a lot of people. Okay, a lot of these concerts, they get 20,000, 30,000 people going up there, and it's like a whole bunch of people. It's like ants when you zoom out. See? And 20,000 one camp can hold up to 20,000. That's crazy. Because if these camps are filled to capacity, we're looking at potentially millions of American citizens detained. Yup. It says the Alaskan behemoth. It says the most alarming of these facilities sits just outside of Fairbanks, Alaska. Masked as a massive mental health facility, its size is truly daunting. This Alaskan facility can accommodate approximately 2 million people. 2 million. Yes, you read that correctly. 2 million. It says, what event, what catastrophe would require such a vast facility? Well, there's something known as Directive 51. Okay. Now, Directive 51, if I'm not mistaken, as a matter of fact, let me pull that up real quick. Okay, because we mentioned something about what catastrophe could require such a vast facility, right? So let's read a little bit about something known as Directive 51. Okay. It says the National Security and Homeland Security Presidential Directive, signed by President of the United States George W. Bush on May 4th, 2007, is a presidential directive establishing a comprehensive policy on the federal government structures and operations in the event of a catastrophic emergency. Okay? Such an emergency is defined as, quote, any incident, regardless of location, that results in extraordinary levels of mass casualties, damage, or disruption severely affecting the U.S. population. Okay, so the shit that happened with CrowdStrike, if it was a little bit more intensified, meaning like, all right, let's go for it this time for real. So that means that it's not just like a day, oh, yeah, it's back up. But something actually happens where they can't even find out what happened. Everything is down. Kind of like a cyber attack that Klaus Schwab was talking about. If that was to happen, that would be considered a catastrophic emergency. And hence, the American National Security and Homeland Security Presidential Directive kicks in, otherwise known as Directive 51. Okay, now let's read a little bit about what that does. Okay, it says such an emergency is defined as any incident, regardless of location, that results in extraordinary levels of mass casualties. Right, a cyber attack would cause mass casualties off rip. Okay, think of all the people who are in so-called hospitals right now who live on tubes being plugged onto them. All right, which is connected to electricity. If that thing shuts down, it's over with. And that's millions of people right there. Okay? Just the hospital system alone. Okay? It says damage or disruption severely affecting the U.S. population, infrastructure, environment, economy, or government functions. The unclassified portion of this directive was posted on the White House website on May 9th, blah, blah, without any further announcement, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. Okay, so now we understand that there's something known as the Directive 51, which basically kicks into gear, all right? That's where FEMA comes in, all right? That catastrophe, whatever catastrophe hits this place, all right, it's going to open the door for FEMA to come in, okay? And some of the things that FEMA will have control over, okay, are written here in these executive orders. We always go into these FEMA executive orders. We're gonna go over it today, real quick. Okay. It says executive orders associated with FEMA that would suspend the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. See? So no more. Hey, it's coming. Let's read. It says these executive orders have been on record for nearly 30 years and could be enacted by the stroke of a presidential pen. Executive Order 10990 says allows the government to take over all modes of transportation and control of highways and seaports. Okay, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. That right there is already in an executive order. Okay. The Executive Order 10995, it says allows the government to seize and control the communication media. Okay, so no more. And communication media is really, all right, these social media platforms. Okay, that's become pretty much the biggest communication media there is. All right, social media platforms is where a lot of communication is happening. YouTube and so on and so forth, right? It says Executive Order 10997, it says allows the government to take over all electrical power, gas, petroleum, fuels, and minerals. Interesting. Executive Order 10998 says allows the government to seize all means of transportation, including personal cars. Okay, because a lot of people have cars, but they don't own these cars. Okay, once you register a car, you're pretty much giving it away. Okay, back to the state. But there's something known as the allotio. Okay, something I've also been looking into. Okay, allotio title. Okay, and that's basically a title that says that you own something outright. Hence, you don't answer to anyone. No authority can basically take that thing away from you. Okay, but that's another topic for another day. Okay, it says including personal cars, trucks, or vehicles of any kind, and total control over all highways, seaports, and waterways. No wonder they're doing all these roads now. Okay, because they know when catastrophe or something hits, a lot of people are going to be on these highways and roads, and that's where you're going to have these checkpoints. Okay, these military dudes stopping people, asking for documentation. Are you up to date on your so-called Vanessa? All right, do you have your MC hip soon? All right, it's all coming. Okay, it's gonna happen quick. It's gonna happen quick. All right, it says Executive Order 10999 allows the government to take over all food resources and farms. Executive Order 11000 allows the government to mobilize civilians into work brigades under government supervision. Interesting. Very, very interesting, right? Oh, wow. Yo, Esau, bro. Let's see. Okay, it says Executive Order 11001 allows the government to take over all health, education, and welfare functions. Executive Order 11002 designates the Postmaster General to operate a national registration of all persons. Digital ID. Okay. Executive Order 11003 allows the government to take over all airports and aircraft, including commercial aircraft. Interesting. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. It applies to flying too. You know, not being able to take flights and so on and so forth. Being stuck at an airport, you know, trying to go someplace but you can't. Being on the road somewhere, trying to go somewhere but you can't. It's all jammed, traffic jams. You know, like the scene in Leave the World Behind, where they were driving, trying to go someplace, and then it's like, damn, a pile of Teslas. So now they have to stop and start swerving and then back up, and you know, Hey, that type of scenario is going to be happening soon, too. It's going to be happening too. It says Executive Order 11004 allows the Housing and Finance Authority to relocate communities. Right? So you might be living in a certain neighborhood, and they'll just come in and round you up and say you're being relocated. And where you going to be being relocated to? Guessed it. It says build new housing with public funds, designate areas to be abandoned, and establish new locations for populations. That's exactly what that means, them camps. Okay, establish new locations for populations. All right. Executive Order 1105 allows the government to take over railroads, inland waterways, and public storage facilities. And it goes on and on. There's a whole lot of executive orders. All right. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, but you get the point. Okay, but you get the point. Okay. Let me see something here. This is very interesting. This one right here I like a lot. Right. Executive Order 11921 says allows the Federal Emergency Preparedness Agency, which I would assume will be the FEPA agency. All right, the Federal Emergency Preparedness Agency. Federal Emergency Preparedness Agency. ESO, bro. To develop plans to establish control over the mechanisms of production and distribution of energy sources, wages, salaries, credit, and the flow of money in U.S. financial institution in any undefined national emergency. You hear that? So FEMA will have control over people's finances and so on and so forth due to that Executive Order 11921. So the federal government, through FEMA, will have control over your finances, everything, your credit, your salary, your wages. Okay? What you can and cannot use to have energy in your house. For example, if you're using, let's just say you're using a generator. Say, oh, no, that's producing too much carbon, so you're going to have to go green or cut it out. You know? You're going to start seeing a lot of that. But anyway, let's keep going. It says, it also provides that when a state of emergency is declared by the president, Congress cannot review the action for 6 months. The Federal Emergency Management Agency has broad powers in every aspect of the nation. General Frank Salcido, chief of FEMA's Civil Security Division, stated in a 1983 conference that he saw FEMA's role as a, quote, new frontier in the protection of individual and governmental leaders from assassination and of civil and military installations. You hear that? And of civil and military installations from sabotage and or attack, as well as prevention of dissident groups from gaining access to U.S. opinion or a global audience in times of crisis. Okay? Dissident. When you go into that word dissident, all right, I believe it's a compound word where the dis means apart and the sident goes to the Latin word, I believe, sedere, which means to sit. So basically to sit apart. Okay? To be on two sides of the spectrum. So they're saying one thing, but yet we bring another truth and explain it and say, hey, this is what this is actually happening here. Pay attention to this instead of that. All right. So they're saying that they're going to be using FEMA. Okay. One of their roles is to come against groups from gaining access to U.S. opinion, meaning what? Social media platforms. Okay. Communication platforms. They're going to seize all that. You're going to see the famine of the word, right? All these things are going to be happening. Okay. It says, or a global audience in time of crisis, because in a time of crisis, people want to know the truth. What the hell is actually going on? See? And they want to be the ones to be having the ability to control the narrative, because if you control the narrative, you control the minds. Okay. And then you can control the direction in which the minds are going into. See, but when the minds are being told the truth in the midst of lies and they actually realize the truth, then your whole deceptive ways become exposed, and there goes your power. See? So they need to do everything in their power, right, to violently stop the men of the Lord. Hence Revelation 12 and 12. Okay? It's no joke, man. That's no joke. Okay? What we're doing is very, very powerful, man. It's extremely, extremely powerful. All right? And they have us on a list, something known as main core. Okay? Main core, all right, is an American government database which has information on basically those who they believe to be threats to so-called national security. Okay, so when when the CIA, FBI, and all of them, start coming out, visiting brothers and sending agents and all that, it's because we're on their main core database. Okay, that means they look at us as high-level threats to the New World Order agenda, because we come out and we boldly proclaim the next kingdom to come and how short-lived their kingdom is, and how the Lord is going to destroy this place. Okay, and they know it to be true. That's why they're afraid, and they start to look at what we're saying as hate, so we can stop talking. Okay, it says the main core data comes from the NSA, FBI, CIA, so they've been tracking us, and other sources, and is collected and stored without warrants or court orders. The database's name derives from the fact that it contains copies of the main core, or essence of which items of intelligence information on Americans produced by the FBI and other agencies of the U.S. intelligence community. As of 2008, there are 8 million Americans listed in the database and as possible threats. 8 million. Shit, I wonder what that number is now. So often for trivial reasons, whom the government may choose to track, question, or detain in a time of crisis. See? Whom the government may choose to track, question, or detain in a time of crisis. Okay, did we not read that earlier in Revelation 2? Okay, let's go back to that. All right. The book of Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10, it says, Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. Okay, let's read that again. Okay. Where is it? I lost what I was reading. Right there. All right. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, right? That ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Okay. So when you go back to it, says dissident groups from. Oh no, we read that. I'm slacking. I can't find the thing. There, that just threw me off my whole game. Hold up. Wow. It'll come back. Main core. There you go. All right. It says, going back to a reading, it says, as of 2008, there are 8 million Americans listed in the database as possible threats, often for trivial reasons, whom the government may choose to track, question, right? Being tried, being on trial, question, or detain, casting some of you into prison, all right, in a time of crisis. So what? For 10 days, for a time, 10 represents a perfect time, or a certain amount of time or days, right? So it says in a time of crisis. Okay. So FEMA is going to be taking care of all that. All right. They're going to be taking care of all that. And they got a list of, basically, like I said, all the states in the United States have multiple, up to at least an average of at least 20. All right. An average of at least 20. Okay. And that's a lot. Okay. New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania. Every state has at least 20 FEMA camps ready to go. All right. And that time is coming. All right. And they're saying that their first step, all right, of action is to disarm all the Americans, all right, through these phony, so-called false flag attacks with these guns. All right. The AR-15 and the AR-15 and the AR, same shit every time. Okay. It's like people just keep on using the same type of weapon for the same type of crimes, and Nothing happens. Ain't no examples made out of. Like, it keeps on happening. They going around shooting in schools and shit. It's like the same shit every time. All right. That's how you know it's orchestrated. Because they know it works. Crisis actors all the time. I mean, damn, bro. Okay. But they want to come after all Americans who have guns. All right. And throw anyone that is, or they might see as a threat into them camps. Okay. Into them camps. All right. And hey, they could go in many different ways. They could say, oh, you know, you might be a health threat to society, so you must be isolated, you know, or whatever the case may be. But we're going to see how it all plays out. Okay, we're going to see how it all plays out. All right, let's get this quick precept here, and then we're going to close it out. All right, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16. I start off at verse 68. It says, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols." Okay, so they shall take certain of you. Not all of us, but some of us are going to be taken. Okay, and we're going to go through those, the hour of temptation. You know, sometimes it's going to be literally in our face. You know, if they sit you down and say, "You going to take this T-hip or what? You going to accept it or what?" You know? So continuing, it says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot. For there shall be in every place, and remember, you're gonna consent unto them, right, by complying and thinking that maybe you complying is the right thing to do. But guess what? Compliance is the best thing that they ever wish for, because you're leading right into your own slavery. Okay, where it's gonna be hell. No freedoms, no happiness, nothing, no communication. Right, 1984 in real time. You know, men and women are separated. They're fighting each other. Like, there's different shit going on. Like, weirdo shit happening. See, and you're gonna be caught up in there. You know, when the military's coming in and stomping people out and shooting people in the head, grabbing people, tossing them around, you know, grabbing you by the hair, dragging you in the middle of the night off your bed, like mad loud and aggressive, shining lights in your eyes and shit, mad cold, you know. It's gonna be miserable times, man. Trodden underfoot. It says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord." They're gonna be using their military and so on and so forth to come up against those that fear the Lord. Okay, because it starts off with a dehumanization where they set it up where society, you know, turns against those who fear the Lord. Our ways of living becomes repugnant, okay, to them and adverse to how they live. You see how satanic people are getting now. The ways of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua becomes very adverse. Okay, it has an adverse reaction to them. Okay, or at least they have an adverse reaction to the word. See, so then they start doing this crybaby shit. Oh, this is anti-Semitic. Oh, you know, this is hate. Oh, we need to stop online hate. No, we're telling the truth. And truth and facts is not hate. All right? It's not hate. Okay? But it says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Okay, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire." Okay, so hey, what we're gonna do in those days is going to show, all right, that we are indeed those chosen of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua, not just called. Okay, but yeah, I just wanted to bring that out real quick. Just a heads up of what's going on. You know, who knows what's going to be happening? When is this going to kick in? Is it going to be at the end of this year? Is it going to be into 2025? Who knows? All right, but we definitely know that the times of darkness is ahead. We've seen all these other signs of prophecy around the world happening. We know that, yeah, we're at the end of this thing. All right. So anyway, in closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rucha Kodash, the water Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, and until next time, Shalom.